Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 13 and has autism. We paint together, working on his fine motor skills. He helps me paint the backgrounds of our paintings with a hand-over-hand method, and then I paint the rest. So I love cows, but it's one of those things that I honestly have painted very few over the years. I think maybe one or two. Now, I could be wrong because I've been painting every day for years. So I, don't remember all of them. If it was Owen, he would remember them all, but he's only now starting to be able to tell me that which one, different things that he remembers and such. So, which is amazing and awesome and cool. And he had a pretty good day. It's been a wild couple of days because yesterday we missed church because I'm laughing only because usually, people will say they're pushing my buttons. Well, when I'm writing, a lot of times I just kind of turn things around, or I'll write emotions more than I'm writing about like the actual saga of something. And so instead of saying he was pushing my buttons all day, I say he's a button pusher. And my dude is the most amazing person I know, but he can push my buttons, and he's probably better at it than my brother was about pushing my mama's buttons. And I wouldn't say that I didn't push buttons, but I by no means was in the caliber of my brother or Owen for sure. So anyways, when I posted this, someone was like, and I wish I could remember the word they used, bowing something. I had never heard the term before. And pushing buttons to me is not somebody that's mean or aggressive, or it's just like, kids do it constantly. He does it constantly. Like, I'll turn my light on and he'll immediately go and turn it off because he knows that, like, I've turned it on for a reason. Now, there are other sensory needs that he does that. But when I'm writing, I am not going through every single thing that he does, or that I do, or that I say, or that he says. It's just kind of a general gist of life. Now, again, I do not always phrase things correctly. I do not always have the right emotions. I told Owen this morning I woke up and I was so cranky, and he was like already going to start screaming at me, and I said, we're not going to do this today. We're not going to be this today. And he calmed down and he had a much better morning, and we were ready to go, and he was doing amazing, and all was right with the world, and that's how life is going to be. There are going to be times where he pushes me, I push him, we have to get along, we don't get along. Life, that's part of the family dynamic. That's part of being, that's part of waking up on the wrong side of the bed and needing more coffee. So, life happens. You have a lot of stuff that goes on. And I try to tell him to be as fair about it as possible, because I'm not always right. He's not always right. Neither one of us. That is part of life. But he's 13. He needs to learn that just because he doesn't like something does not mean that the world has to comply. Does not mean the world can comply. Doesn't mean the world should comply. Does mean he can still have his opinion. Does mean he may even be right or wrong. You never know. But that does not give him the right to yell at somebody else because they want to wear what they want to wear, or they want to do what they want to do. So that is the part that I'm trying to, at 13, get him to understand that just because he wants something to happen doesn't mean it's going to, doesn't mean it should happen. And excuse me. I want him to understand this because, the older he gets, I see so much incredible progress in him. And yes, he has autism, but that does not mean, as he says, that he can't go to college school. His college school at this point, it would look a lot different than anybody else's college school. But guess what? Everybody's college school looks different than everybody else's college school. That's why we have all the different professions. That's why we have people that are in school for years. That's why we have people that are in school for only this long. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And you know what? It's all okay. But I am not going to sit and wait for my son to figure it out on his own. He needs just as much encouragement and explanation and tons more than anybody else in this entire world. So I don't care when somebody says to me that I shouldn't say he pushes my buttons. Guess what? We all do it. If you are a child in a home with a parent, with a guardian, with a friend, with somebody, you at age 13 were pushing buttons. And so it's like somebody told me that I shouldn't have my son involved with our art. Why in the world would somebody even think? They thought that because I was helping him with the motions that I shouldn't do that. I should let him have his own art. Well, guess what? He does. I just don't, again, I don't video every single moment of every single part of our day. I video it. I tape some of it. I do, but I don't share every single thing we do. It's just, well, I almost said it's impossible, but it's not impossible. It's just not something I do. It's just not something I do. So the moral of this story is, I guess I'm fired up because I've had a couple experiences with people the last few days that is, when you read something on the internet and you don't necessarily agree with it, it doesn't mean bash the other person. It means, hey, maybe I could learn something from that person. Maybe that person is not somebody I want to learn something from, but maybe I should listen to another opinion or see what else they're talking about. Give people chances. I'm always amused when somebody judges something by one post that somebody's made. And, again, I can't possibly post everything about every moment in my day. I think I'm going to rant. I think I did wake up on it. I was cranky. But the moral of my little story here is, please, as I always tell Owen, be kind. It doesn't really look like a cow yet, but here we are. Be kind. Just be kind. Be kind. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Allow people to have opinions. Again, it may not be your opinion. It may not be the correct opinion. It may not even be something that should be out there in the universe. But just like I tell Owen, they are allowed to do what they, want to wear. Want to wear, people. Oh, okay, so off my soapbox. I'm sorry. I don't try to, but I get upset when people get so, like, my son is so amazing that I fully believe he's been talking about driving. He'll say to me when I drive, because I've told him so many times, when it's his turn to drive, he can go whichever way he wants to go. And that's the thing, is like, as far as he's come in the amount of time that he's come, I don't doubt at some point in his life, everything's going to kind of keep rolling together, because he has moved mountains already, and he's gonna be able to drive. Whether it's in our driveway, when we move out to the home of the Purple Gals, I hope, or if it's, really driving a car. I don't know. But I'm never gonna put a stop on him. I'm never gonna say that he can't go to college school. I'm never going to say that he can't. What I'm going to do is tell him every single day that if he keeps doing things and he keeps trying, he is going to change the world. And tonight I was talking to him and I showed him this video because it was a boy that had been singing in a hallway, and an artist had pulled him up, like, I guess got in contact with him or something, and had him come out on stage, and they were in blue jeans. And Owen sometimes will watch videos like that with me, sometimes he won't. But he was fascinated because they were in blue jeans and they were singing songs, and they were on the stage. And he's really a good singer. I mean, he's got a good voice when he sings like he wants to sing, like he sings his real voice. He really does have this great little voice. And he was so excited about this. And I told him, like, you can do anything you set your mind to. And if you want to sing on stage, you're going to sing on any stage you want to sing on. And he said he wanted to sing on the stage at our church. And I said, dude, you got this. You can. You can. There's no reason you can't. There's absolutely no reason you can't. So, you know what? My son, he's going to move mountains. And how do you ever know that you like or don't like something if you don't give that person or yourself an opportunity to learn it? How is he supposed to know if he likes or doesn't like painting if he never tries it? If he doesn't do it. How is he supposed to know? And his fine motor skills, like it's hard for him. It's truly hard for him. Like he's 13 and he's still learning how to use utensils and pencils and paintbrushes. And so I give him different size paintbrushes. I do hand over hand. I do where I hold at the elbow. I give him stencils. I give him crayons. I give him markers. I give him, tons of different ways to try to learn how to do his arts and crafts. And he now is doing scribble monsters because he wanted to scribble his name. And I said, buddy, that's fine. But the reason we want you to learn how to write your name is so that you can tell your story, so that you can share what you want to share. And by signing your name, that's putting your stamp on the world. And so how does he know when he's still learning to use utensils that he wouldn't love painting or wouldn't love some other kind of art? You have to allow sharing of these types of things. And I take it with a grain of salt, even though I've been rambling on about this. But when somebody says something to me about I shouldn't be teaching my son or using my son with him painting the backgrounds, that doesn't even compute with me because, again, this is a journey for us. He's helping me build this art, and it's helped him to get where he is today. So I will never be sad that he has been able to come this far when the doctors told me that he probably wouldn't talk. And here he is. Not only is he talking, but he sings and talks in more languages than I can even explain to you. He told me the other day he was mad in 4 languages. That's what he said. He was mad in 4 languages. I said, which ones? And he started listing off the languages he was mad in. I was kind of glad he wasn't mad in all of them. But the thing we have to remember is give people the opportunity to be themselves. Be themselves. Be happy. Be, Don't. And I know internet people aren't necessarily real people, or, they're there just to get the goat. But that's my thing, is I want my son to always know that I believe in him and that he is amazing. I'll ask him if he knows what he is, and he will say, amazing. My job is done. My job is done. If he knows he's amazing, that's what matters. Well, I don't know that I perfected this cow. And I've got some other ideas to kind of work on and figure out. But I like him. I like him. So, as I tell Owen, kindness and grace matter. Kindness and grace matter. So, just share kindness. Okay. So, I do O for Owen because he does help me with the backgrounds, And a couple of years ago, it was always hand over hand. Always. Now, he paints a lot of the background all by himself. And then we go back and we work on straightening it out and different things. Oops. I did 2 O's. I'm being silly. It should be a B. We're just going to make it a big B there. I looked at that and I'm like, this is what happens when you're very distracted with life. So, anyways, I got my little rant out. And he did amazing today. And I told him that I didn't have enough on the way home from his music therapy. I told him I didn't drink enough coffee today. And he told me to get a cup of coffee and a donut. He wanted a pumpkin donut. He asked me for a pumpkin donut. My son asked me for a pumpkin donut. He's not a big sweet eater, but he's starting to. He's starting to eat more. I wish I wasn't a big sweet eater. But he ate that whole donut. So, anyways, there we are. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of our day. Toodles, toodles.